Coming in, yeah.
This is On the Up, a show about stories of young African mavericks, their journey thus far, and the greater vision they have for Africa. And I am your host, Akil Ahmed. Our first guest of the show is an e-commerce guru serving as the managing director of Skygarden. And if you think that was enough to keep someone preoccupied, think again, because he is also behind a live training program called Hunja Active and a community health drive called Strength Kenya. Ladies and gentlemen, this is none other than Isaac Hunja.
Hello.
Welcome to the show, Isaac.
Thank you very much.
We're going to tell you a story
Yes.
and challenge each other on an exciting game.
Yes.
I hope you're ready.
Yep, let's go.
The Kenyan e-commerce industry has been growing steadily over the last 5 years. Take us through the story and the journey that you went through when you were walking around the Nairobi hot sun and trying to onboard restaurants for Hello Food to the Skygarden Managing Director.
Yeah, so working for Hello Food, which is now Junior Food, was a very interesting journey. I was part of a startup team. I was blessed to get the opportunity as one of the first hires. I was second employee at the company. And it was my first experience being in a startup environment, being part of this team that had nothing to show to the market and growing it from the bottom up. Yeah, so my first role was in restaurant acquisition, walking into restaurants, trying to get meetings with the managers, but ended up getting meetings with the waiters, trying to get them to understand this concept of online food delivery. And e-commerce at the time was very new in Kenya. So just trying to be able to navigate that, all those different obstacles, it really taught me hustle. It really taught me how to present myself, taught me how to be just likable, at the first onset, because whenever you're in sales, there's all these gatekeepers that you have to get through. In the restaurant business, getting through from waiter all the way to the owner,
I can imagine.
You have to really, really hustle. So yeah, it was quite an exciting journey, and I think I learned quite a bit from that.
And I think your compensation was 1,000 shillings a day.
Yeah, it was a lot of money. You're getting 1,000 shillings per day. Yeah, we found loopholes in the system. You would go on board like 5 kibandas because they're easier to onboard because the owner was always on site. You get your 5Gs.
Naturally, yeah.
But eventually there were bigger incentives for bringing on board the bigger restaurants. So of course we started gunning for the KFCs and the Javas, so on and so forth, and we were able to get them eventually.
And now you're the Skygarden Managing Director.
Yep.
Tell us the journey in between.
Yeah, so from working at Hello Food, I went through a couple of roles. So starting from restaurant acquisition, then I got introduced to marketing and content management and community management as well. And then I had a role at a global company that was coming to the market. And I jumped at it, and it was quite a huge leap because it was from somewhat of an entry-level job at Hello Food, albeit it was a lot of responsibility being part of the startup team, into a marketing manager role. And I took the leap.
It's a huge leap.
It's a very big leap, and I'm very proud of how I secured the role. And
it says a lot about your confidence in yourself and your ambition and your capability, per se.
Thank you. Yeah, so after joining this company, I worked hard, super hard, super high pressure, and I eventually lost the job. Through a very, very devastating experience after doing so much for them, and that still not being enough. And it took a lot out of my confidence, and I had to really find a way to step away from that and understand that role did not define me, or that experience did not define me. But a couple of months later, I got a role at Cellulant, where I was doing a lot of their creative production. They were starting up a new marketing team for being a company that was never customer-facing, turning into a customer-facing brand, joining this and pushing this forward. And I did that for about 7 months, and I had about this Skygarden role.
But even before that, a restaurant onboarder, content and social marketing, then marketing manager, and here you're doing creative production.
Yeah.
So you're essentially a creative designer. at Cellulant.
Yeah.
Did you have any experience before this?
None at all. So because of being part of a startup environment, you have to learn on the job. There's all these different roles that they don't have the budget for, or you just have to play many roles at the same time. So I had to teach myself quite a lot, and that's how I got involved with graphic design and creative production. And joining Cellulant, I had to really accelerate that. Designing for magazines and designing for various publications for not just the Kenya office but for all over Africa. I really had to burn the midnight oil and just prove myself. Yeah.
And from a more structured environment to Skygarden.
Yes. So joining Skygarden was almost like diving out of an aeroplane without a parachute. I really was very naive to think that I was going to have the same experience that I had at Hello Food or at any other company that was coming into the market, that was proven in other markets. Coming into Skygarden was very challenging because we had to build everything from the ground up. Not just the product, not just the brand, but also the team. And I'd never really led a team before. So trying to understand what type of leader I am, what type of culture would I like to see, and all the experiences that I had from the past really poured into what I've poured into Skygarden. So I have no regrets, and I'm grateful for anything that has happened over my career.
You've been working your entire career into roles that society and even yourself might have thought were too big for you.
Yeah.
Has this been able to develop, did this develop an imposter syndrome, and how have you been able to deal with it?
I think imposter syndrome is something everyone goes through at one point in their career. But for me, it's been something that has been almost a norm because I've been either reaching for a much higher stair in terms of the role or the experience needed was something I had to work my way into in everything I jumped into. Sometimes I had zero experience in it, and then I'm going into the role and I had to sprint, hit the ground running. But I think imposter syndrome it's one of those catalysts for career because you have to fight against it. Because if the losing battle to imposter syndrome is you losing the job or you failing at whatever it is.
Yeah.
So whenever I feel that imposter syndrome, of course it gives you the anxiety, it gives you the sleepless nights, so on and so forth. But I just recognize it as any other discomfort. I try to just have a blanket idea of what I'm feeling at the time and just say, okay, it's discomfort. That means you're doing something, you're moving forward. And forward motion creates friction. So I think imposter syndrome, it's horrible, and it's something that I have to work my way against. But I'm not what's the word I'm looking for? I can't say that I regret feeling it. It has helped me in the past.
And one would say it's the best way to grow.
It is.
Could be if you take it positively.
If you take it positively.
And I look at it this way. You've all the companies you've worked for until now have brought a new concept into the Kenyan space.
Yeah.
What would you say about Kenyans and adopting new ideas? Because people say we are very peculiar. Someone famous said that we're very hard and we're very rigid.
Yeah.
What does that say about the country, the space, the economy, and the people in general?
I think for Kenyans, the problem is we have a lot more resistance than we do have resistors than we do have the pioneers or the early adopters. But once you capture those early adopters, then you have everyone, right? And it can take time, but there's been brands or services that have come into the Kenyan market, and I think Uber is a great example, that have come in, and from the word go, they hooked the right early adopters. And social media is something that has really helped with this, where someone comes in and everywhere you scroll, you're seeing all the right people, all the people that you look up to, the people that you borrow ideas from using those services. But Kenyans, if you do not capture them, that's it for you. It's going to take you a lot of time and resources and money for you to really flip their heads and turn them in the right direction. I think word of mouth is the strongest tool in this market, and negative word of mouth is the worst when it comes to Kenya. So I mean, when I've worked for previous services, there's times when we've had to shut down our review page on Facebook, just turn it off, because people, one bad experience, it's a domino effect. Everyone's just like, yeah, me too, yeah, me too, yeah, me too, yeah, me too. And anyone who wants to actually give you a chance will go and read those comments, and that's it for your brand. Even if like 56%, which is the majority, so to speak, is actually having a good experience with your service.
Says a lot about you, because they all the different ideas you've brought into the market have actually worked. And
Yes.
I think congratulations.
Thank
and,
you.
You are now a trained and certified fitness coach.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Walk us through the journey of how you started and how it has impacted your role at Skygarden currently.
So I've always been active growing up. I think I got it from my parents. I used to see them always on a diet, or always on a different fitness program. Many a time I would wait outside after being picked up from school, outside a gym for them to finish a workout. So I was always surrounded by this environment of wellness, right? So growing up, I think everyone who's starting out in a fitness journey, it's all about aesthetics. So for me, I was always just trying to get a six-pack. And the moment I got one, I would fall off the wagon, and that cycle would just be up and down, up and down, up and down. And it wasn't up until I started living on my own, and I started to see that, okay, there's actually something else called health. There's actually something called wellness. It's not just about how I look. And over the last 6 years is when I've really taken it seriously, and I've been more consistent from all aspects of my wellness. But when I got introduced to a concept called CrossFit, CrossFit is a very new concept in Kenya. It's basically just constantly varied functional fitness. I fell in love all over again, just because of the new things that I was learning to do with my body, walking on my hands, throwing myself over rings, doing gymnastics, lifting heavy weights. I fell in love completely, and it took over my life. Everything about my life changed after that. So after all my experiences and posting on social media, and experiences with the people I was working out with and my coach, people were telling me and asking me, are you going to ever coach, because you have what it takes? And it became this never-ending story, and it was like this cloud, like this angel and devil on my shoulder. Do it, don't do it. And the only place I could go do it was either Dubai or in South Africa. And many a time I would go to the website. When I say go do it, I mean the certification. I'd go to the website and I would hover over the add to cart button. I would add it to my cart, and I would never press purchase. And one day in the middle of the night, I was listening to a motivational speaker. I said, what the heck, man, just do it. The motivational speaker was talking about staggering like a drunk man between decisions, talking about how indecision is one of the worst things you can ever have in your life. And I just went for it. $1,000, put down the whole thing instead of just the 50% down payment, because I believe in massive action, and I went for it. I didn't know how I was going to go to South Africa. I picked South Africa. I didn't have a visa, nothing. But I just knew that's the first domino that I had to push, and everything else would find its place. And yeah, I went, did the certification, passed the exam, and yeah, here I am, a certified CrossFit coach.
Is there any friction with your role at Skygarden, or has it actually helped you become a better person, more focused?
If there's been any friction, I think it's always been self-imposed, because of how much my thought process goes around my wellness. Sometimes I feel as though my head is turning too much towards wellness, and it should always be on this company, right? But it has really helped me become a better leader, for one. because of the last 3 years, I have coached so many people and I have helped so many people along their fitness journeys, and just trying to get them to get out of their discomfort, right? I've become a better speaker, and I've also understood the process, the slow process of growth for myself in my own fitness journey and for the people that I impact. And that in turn, I've used that as an analogy for the company, and just understanding that it's a slow process, month on month, week on week, day on day. If we're just doing the right thing, just laying the right brick, one by one, placing it in just the right way, we will step back and see this beautiful castle that we have built. And really just pouring that mindset into the people that I lead. I think it's really, really helped.
To do all this, I think you need focus. You need to filter all the noise and zero in. What are some of the steps you've taken to be able to achieve this?
Yeah, so I think time management is something that I've been almost obsessed with. And like one man that I looked up to and still do, even after his passing, is Kobe Bryant. And just
R.I.P. Mamba.
R.I.P. Mamba. And his mentality around being obsessive about whatever you're doing. I think I really have picked a lot of leaves from that. So in my role with Skygarden, with my fitness, with my relationships, with my family life, everything, how can I be obsessive about it? How can I ensure that I'm doing it to the best of my ability? And how I use my time, making every single day count, is something that I'm sometimes too obsessive about. And that has led me to changing my lifestyle in various ways. So if you invite me for something, or if there's a plan somewhere, I'm always trying to figure out what value am I going to pull from that. And if it doesn't fit the bill, then a lot of the time it won't be something that I will do, or a direction that I will take.
So technically, you're those people who ignore those UCO messages.
Yeah, man. If you WhatsApp me, "Hi Isaac," and you don't say anything after that,
it's over.
Have some blue ticks.
Conversation done.
Yeah. Have a few blue ticks, my friend. Yeah.
Isaac, you run a company that is working every single day to challenge a larger entity in Jumia. They obviously have more resources, better budgets, more experience in the industry. Has there been moments where you and your co-founders have been completely discouraged to take up this larger challenge?
Yeah, so definitely. I mean, my founders and I, we knew it when we were coming into the market, that we were the small dogs. I had come from working under Hello Food, which is under the Jumia umbrella, and knowing the size of team they had, all the resources and the plans that they had, it felt like leaving this large army to just pick up a few pangas and sticks and stones to go into the battlefield. And I remember my ex-MD at one point, when it was just the two of us, because for a long time it was just the two of us in an office, and we had nothing to do that afternoon, and we were just daydreaming about this journey that we were that we were on. And he went to the whiteboard and he drew a small rat and he drew an elephant. And then he drew a speech bubble around the rat and he wrote "boo." And he said, "That's what we are doing to the market right now. And this elephant is going to run." And that's what has been happening. That's what we are seeing from the market. So to instill confidence in the rest of the team, of course you can't always be, "Oh, what are they doing? What are we doing?" We're always trying to tell them that we're trying to be better than ourselves yesterday. And that's something that I believe for myself as well, for my life, that I'm always trying to improve on the person or the man that I was yesterday.
So it's generally a philosophy of competing with yourselves.
Yes, yes.
And I think it's the best way to tackle a tough entrant into the market.
For sure, for sure.
As a young man, how old are you?
29.
You've done more than what I think people twice your age have been able to accomplish at this moment. Then what is the legacy? What is the vision, and how far do you want push everything forward?
So when I was 14, my late grandfather, the man I'm named after, sat me and my 2 cousins down. He was unwell at the time. He just shouted, "Hunja, Jimmy, Mabogo!" He all scurried into his room, literally sat at his feet, and it's like he was hit with an epiphany. He just told us, "Be extraordinary. That is all I want you to be. Be extraordinary." And I've never ever forgotten that moment.
In what language?
In English,
Okay,
unfortunately. Yeah.
Yeah. It usually hits different if it's mother tongue.
Yes. And it was one of those moments that sort of defined me, because many times when I've been down in the dumps, or whenever I have that imposter syndrome, or I'm trying to reach for this audacious goal, I always remember those words. So when you ask me about legacy, I don't know what legacy I'm going to leave in terms of what my career will look like, or what exactly I'm going to do, what people speak about. But what I hope they do speak about is that I did anything that I did extraordinarily. I have done many things over my lifetime. I've been a dancer, I've been a guitarist, I've been a spray painter, I've been all these various things. And I've done them to what I believe is to an extraordinary level. And that's what I always want to do. And when my children look up to me and they see all the work I've done, I want them to be inspired to do the same thing.
Again, Mamba mentality.
Mamba mentality.
Love it. Nice to have you on the show, Isaac.
Thank you so much for having me.
Super.
Yeah, I just wanna win. I just wanna win. Coming in. Yeah. Coming in.
It's quiz time. Isaac, your category of choice was hip hop.
Yes.
Are you sure?
I'm sure.
Are you ready?
Let's go.
I chose video games, just to set the record straight.
Yes.
I believe I'm good at it. And let's see how this goes. I believe we have 20 seconds to answer 5 questions.
Why you always lying? Oh my God.
Let's go.
Quick round.
Yes.
I'm starting. What is the name of Kendrick's second album?
To Pimp a Butterfly.
Tafsiri Hii was a Kenyan hip-hop song by which group?
Pass.
Do me a favor, please. Get out of here. Get out of here, man. Shit, I'm saying.
Hey, hard pass. Hard pass.
Which US-based rapper is a Pulitzer Prize winner?
Kendrick Lamar.
How many Grammys has Jay-Z won?
7.
Eminem's last hip-hop beef was with another US-based rapper called?
Donald Trump. Let the record show that he set his own questions.
Let the record show that I was actually fair and I didn't look at the answers.
Always lying to me. Too much. Lying so much, you know.
How many ghosts are there in Pac-Man?
I don't know. 5.
What is the best-selling video game of all time?
GTA 5.
Which actor plays John Silver in Cyberpunk 2077?
Keanu Reeves.
What character do you control in Final Fantasy VII Remake?
I haven't played the game.
Which country has banned the sale of the original Grand Theft Auto?
Brazil.
I don't know if that was good or not.
So find out.
We'll find out.
Yeah. Coming in. Yeah. Flex. I just wanna win. Yeah. Flex. Yeah. I just wanna win. I just wanna win. Coming in. Yeah. Coming in.